We are going to talk about the ripple effects of the Carlos Correa trade. In this year's draft, our first round pick was number 16. As an organization, we had three guys pegged as the top three players in the draft as we saw them, regardless of position. But best player available, and if one of those three slipped to us at 16, we would pull the trigger and take that best player available. As you see on your screen, that's exactly what we did with Cy McClellan, who is playing for our AA club, is a 75 overall as a 22-year-old, a switch hitter. His main position is shortstop, but you can see his position flexibility. But most importantly, his A potential. So we hit, even though we didn't have a top three pick, we hit on the best player available selection with Cy McClellan. We didn't need a shortstop in this organization. But what did we do? We added not only a great shortstop, but we added the fourth best prospect in all of baseball. Next, we have Brooks Lee, a shortstop by trade, if you will. But he also can play other positions, including second base and third base. He's a former Twins first round pick in 2022. He's 25 years old. He has B potential. He's still young. He's a switch hitter. And take a look at what he is doing to AAA pitching. In 344 at-bats, he has 16 homers, 55 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, and a .262 average. The kid is raking AAA pitching. He has been on fire all season and has not really been given a chance to play at the big league level. But if he continues to torch AAA pitching this way, we're going to have to give him a look in Minnesota. One of his issues is he's only at 75 overall, but he does have B potential. So as he continues to progress, as he has already this season, and as he will continue to if he continues to tear up AAA pitching, he could be to a 78 or even an 80 by the end of the season. There's really no telling. And then also at AAA, we have a man by the name of Marcelo Mayer. You guys may know him better as the player that we traded Carlos Correa for. Now, part of the ripple effect of the Carlos Correa trade was that we freed up over $120 million off of our books. Boston could absorb it. They needed a shortstop. And they were aggressive in trade talks for Carlos Correa. $33 million is big money to teams like the Minnesota Twins, but not to the Red Sox. And we got one of their top prospects in Marcelo Mayer. He's risen to a 79 overall as a 23-year-old with high B potential. In fact, I checked it, and he's currently, he has 89 potential. So he's on the cusp of A potential. Obviously, he could become a player with A potential, or he could stay at B potential. But he's not a player that is getting ready to be capped out at 81 or 82. Look at the position flexibility that he has. Along with shortstop, he plays second, third, left, center, and right. Kid is 6'3", 188. He swings from the left side, but he throws righty. And look at what he's doing with less at-bats even than Brooks Lee at AAA. 293 at-bats, 21 doubles, 2 triples, 11 home runs, 40 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, and a .328 batting average. He, at 23, is apparently realizing his potential, at least at the AAA level. He's getting to a place where you cannot keep him at AAA for much longer. And what do others think of him in Major League Baseball? They love him. He's the 10th rated prospect in all of baseball. He also, if you look at the top 10, you do have a number that say MLB ETA 2026. But when you really look at them, Cy McClellan is at 75 overall. He's really not ready to play this year. Even if we had a spot for him, he's still a year or two away. So their MLB ETAs, in my view, are a little off. But if you look at that, we have our AA second or AA shortstop is the 4th rated prospect in all of baseball. And our 10th rated prospect, or the 10th rated prospect in all of baseball, is our AAA shortstop, And his MLB ETA is actually the only one that is really right on. Look at Gary Yang. He's a 68 overall. How can his ETA be 2026? There's no way he's going to play, or he should be playing in the majors at 18 as a 68 overall. Marcelo Mayer, he's a 79 overall. And defensively, he's major league ready. And what he's showing us now and showing the league is that offensively, he's ready to take that next step. Let's take a look at our major league club. As one of the ripple effects of the Carlos Correa trade was that it freed up $33 million per year for this franchise to be able to go out and do other things with that money. We did not have a starting first baseman last year. We were able to go out and get Luis Ariz, who's hitting .332 for us, one of the top batting averages in all of baseball, with a contact versus righties and lefties at 99, and a clutch at 99, and a vision at 98. We picked him up with some of that money. And we also picked up a guy by the name of Bo Bichette. You guys know who he is. Look at that clutch, 98. He's pretty solid all the way around. When we signed him, he was about an 80 or 81 overall, if I remember right. So he had kind of fallen from where he was in the early 2020s. He had injury issues in 2024. And like I say many times with injury issues, they can affect you the following year depending on the injury. And in our view, with him only being 27 last year, that was not the real Bo Bichette that played in Toronto last year. Well, look at his numbers this year. He's played in over half of the games he played in last year. But look, he already almost has more runs scored than he did the previous year. He's close to his number in doubles. He has 3 triples. He has more home runs. He only has 37 RBIs. But he has 30 walks. He struck out a lot less than he did last year. Is on pace to strike out a lot less. He's already got 14 steals with only 7 caught stealing, where last year he got caught stealing 12 times and stole 11 bases. And his average is 289, where last year it was 257. His slugging is 477, and then his on-base percentage is 347. All positive numbers compared to last year. And then you look at his potential, the guy still has a potential as a 28-year-old. What does that mean? What that means is that the dude could possibly get into the 90s again. He's only 28, and most hitters don't really hit their prime until their late 20s. Now, the phenoms like Mike Trout and some of the younger guys that have come up and hit early, like Juan Soto and guys like that, those are the freaks of baseball. But you look at your Mike Judges, or Aaron Judges, I'm sorry, not the creator of Beavis and Butthead, but Aaron Judge. And I believe his breakout year for the Yankees, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it was around 26. And before that, they didn't know what they had with Aaron Judge. You see it routinely where guys in their late 20s, excuse me, but routinely they develop and begin to do damage to pitching that they did not do in years previous. And part of that is growing into their bodies, just getting stronger, learning pitchers, tendencies, just becoming better professional hitters. But we're about 18 minutes in, and the ripple effects of the Carlos Correa trade are, in fact, that we have a ton of shortstops that could be playing at the major league level. And if you look at Willie Castro, he's a shortstop naturally, but he's not playing shortstop for us because he can play so many other positions. So he's playing second base for us. But if you look at our organizational chart at shortstop, we've got Bo Bichette, who you can't take him out of the lineup. He's too good. He's too much of a professional player, especially with the great record that we have this year. We're on pace to be the top American League team going into the playoffs. And Bo Bichette is a part of that. And it makes no sense to replace him with Marcelo Mayer or Brooks Lee for sure. But what do we do with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shortstops if you want to count Castro? Are we the Minnesota Padres who seemingly draft or sign only shortstops like Jackson Holliday, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, and the list goes on, and yet move them to other positions? Well, I'd say at this point, We don't want to be the San Diego Twins. So what do we do? Marcelo Mayer is and should be playing at the major league level right now. And at the very latest in the off season, he should be with a team where he's going to have an opportunity to play because we have Bo Bichette locked up for another year after this year. And it'd be one thing if Mayer was the player that Bichette was right now, but he's not. Bichette is the better player overall, and he has the better potential. And so, what do we do to unclog our deep position of shortstop in our organization? I think it would be foolish to try to get rid of Cy McClellan. It would be even more foolish to get rid of Bo Bichette. Brooks Lee is a Twins guy. If I remember right, he's come up through the organization. Excuse me, guys. But I'd like to see him in maybe another year or two. But I'd also like to see Cy McClellan and the steps he takes in his development as the third overall prospect in all of baseball. I'm excited about his opportunities, especially when Bichette, when his contract is up after 2 years. Will McClellan be ready? And or will Bichette be an 89 overall with a potential still, and just by far and away our best option at shortstop? We won't know for a while, but I think after talking with my main Minnesota Twins fan, Dogie, and with much reflection, I think it's time to move Marcelo Mayer. And I hate to. The kid is 23, like I said. He's 6'3". And let me tell you what I can remember about Marcelo Mayer and his, I guess, his scouting report, if you will. If I remember right, the Red Sox in 2001 somehow landed the 4th overall pick, and they drafted Marcelo Mayer out of a California high school where he was a man amongst boys, apparently. And some scouts considered him the best hitter and defender that year. Um, for the most part, he has lived up to those expectations since signing I believe, a $6.6 million deal with Boston. One of his issues is he's only played in 246 games in 3 full pro seasons because of wrist, shoulder, and back injuries. He does have a fluid swing and makes decent swing decisions. Though he's been more aggressive at the plate and sought more power as he's gotten stronger. From what I understand, from what I've read, he truly stands out with his bat speed and his exit velocities. And I'm a pretty big exit velocity guy. And so the guy can rake. Um, when he hits that pitch, it's coming off that bat hard. And anytime you do that, it's usually going to end up well for you and your team. He's been more aggressive at the plate, it appears, this year. And he's sought more power as he's gotten a little bit stronger. Um, he does have a propensity to make ground ball contact, and it may cap his home run numbers at 20 to 30 in the pros, or in the majors at least, which isn't bad. And we would take that, and I believe most teams would take that. He is bigger than most shortstops, as I shared his height with you guys at about 6'3". He does have below average speed, but his quick first step and his instincts help him compensate. He can pick his spots to steal bases. If you guys noticed, he has 13 steals, and he's not considered to be fast. But he can pick his spots to steal bases. Before this season, he stole 46 out of 54 bases, which is about 85%, if I am doing my math correctly. And that's pretty incredible for a guy that's not considered fast. He plays a very solid shortstop with plus arm strength. And some scouts like him better at third base, apparently. They think he could be a plus defender with profile power at third. But some want him to stay at shortstop. So just a little information on him from a scouting perspective, and what he would offer another team, not only now, but maybe in the future. I was kind of blown away when I peeked at his potential, and it was at 89. He's at 79 now, so to improve 10 overall, or the possibility of that, would make him probably one of the best shortstops in baseball. The title of this episode is The Ripple Effects of the Carlos Correa Trade. We have way too many shortstops, and we need to do something about it. I scoured teams, including the San Francisco Giants, looking at getting the number one overall prospect, who's a starting pitcher. He's a generational player, but they don't need a shortstop, and they're really not in the playoff race this year. And if I remember right, they have a guy by the name of Willie Adames holding down that spot. I looked at the Marlins, at the White Sox, and the Angels, who all have prospects in the top 10. Well, there would be no reason for them to necessarily trade for a major league ready player. They want to continue to develop their players, and especially with Mayer being a B potential, even though he's an 89 overall potential. I just can't see them wanting to make a trade with us for an A prospect, which I think we would deserve in return, especially if the prospect was not going to be available in the majors for most likely 2 years. So then I looked at teams that were in the playoff race and came down to a number of teams. I actually looked at every team in the playoff race. And the only team that seemed to make sense to Dogie and I'll just show you, were the Atlanta Braves with left fielder Elvis Rocha, who's 19 and in Double-A. He's far away from playing at the major league level. As you can see, he's only a 63 overall. If he makes it, you can see he's got a lot of deficiencies. His fielding is just atrocious, along with his accuracy. His speed is not great, and then he doesn't have great contact at this point, nor does he have good vision or discipline. So, the question is really out. He's done well at Double-A this year. You'll have to excuse me, guys. I've been sick, and I wanted to get this video up, though, since it's been about 7 days since the last video. But it didn't matter as much about the prospect as it did about the team fit. And if you look at the Atlanta Braves, they are 63-32. So they are definitely in the they're chasing after a World Series title just like we are. If you go and look at their team, I looked at every team and either they didn't have the prospects or they didn't have the need at shortstop. The Braves, their second biggest need is shortstop. They would absolutely fall all over themselves to get a prospect the caliber of um, really anybody uh, that we have on our roster. But most definitely Marcelo Mayer. He would immediately start for him over Orlando Arcia. He would solidify the, the defense on the left side. At shortstop, even if he didn't hit right away in the majors, he would play a great defensive shortstop till his hitting could grow a little bit. But he's a lot better player than any that they have on their roster. So left field is one of the positions that they don't have a star per se, like they have at center with Michael Harris the second and Ronald Acuna Jr. in right. But this was the only team that was in the pennant race that had a potential prospect that we were willing to take back um, at a position in our organization of need, even though we would have preferred a starting pitcher with a potential. We wanted to make it as fair as possible and a move that would make sense. Um, Mayer would not go to one of the worst teams in the league with them trading their young prospects, to get him another young prospect. They just probably wouldn't do that. But don't really feel like Elvis Rocha is enough because Marcelo Mayer is ready to play right away and will play right away. Will start for a great Braves team already. So probably the only thing that would cinch the deal is if we could find a young prospect that was maybe a C overall prospect. So not asking for much. Man, they have this guy in playing major league minutes as a 70 overall. I may have pneumonia, guys. I don't know. So you don't see any other videos after this one. I may have died from pneumonia, but um, I apologize about my coughing. I think J.R. Ritchie, 22-year-old, 69 overall, C prospect. I mean, that'll do it for us, I think. So we're going to go ahead and make that deal. I hate to trade Marcelo Mayer away, but we're so deep at shortstop that we needed to make a move. And Marcelo Mayer trade to the Braves is just another ripple effect of the Carlos Correa trade. So even though we traded for Mayer, he ended up being the odd man out for us. And so, and I will come in. I don't know if I can do it. You know, I just want to make sure that Marcelo Mayer is starting for the Braves. Um, so probably what I'll do is I'll um, we'll play some games, and let's look at the All-Star voting. David Festa, he's up to an 86. He started the season as an 82, I believe, and is up to an 86. Crazy. And most likely he will be in the All-Star game with a 12-3 record, 108 strikeouts and 110 innings pitched, 2.36 ERA, and a 1.13 WHIP. Man, that is great news. Bailey Ober will probably just miss it, but he's been pitching phenomenally. I don't know why I did that. Uh, Brant Herter, one of our relief pitchers. I think I say it almost every episode, but he's one of the best gets that we got in that trade with Detroit. We snagged him, and he has just been sensational for us. Just almost unhittable. 0.80 whip in 71 innings pitched. And then Johan Duran, our closer, of course, has an 0.82 whip. And has 30 saves, just 2 blown saves this year. So he's on his game. At catcher, Ryan Jeffers is right behind Salvador Perez. I don't think he'll catch him in one game. So, but you would think they would have 2 catchers, so you'd think he would make it. Luis Ariz, second at first base. Alex Bregman, and the second newest Red Sox after Carlos Correa. So there's Royce Lewis. I was thinking there was no love for Royce Lewis, but his average is at 269, but he does have 21 bombs and 60 RBIs. Bo Bichette in third place, so he probably will not make it. But he's put up solid numbers this year. Jake McCarthy, what is it with third place? I mean, what more could you ask of a guy that we got in the upper 70s, I think, from Arizona, and in 348 at bats, he has 12 homers, 50 RBIs, 20 steals. It's hitting 287. I mean, guy's a stud, man. Byron Buxton. So Rodriguez decided to drop some more bombs this year. Well, that's a crime right there. Buxton is just behind Julio for the start in center field. So it looks like he won't get the start, but he has tens of fewer bats. So so there we are at 62 and 34 for those who hadn't seen it yet. But we're 7 games up on the Detroit Tigers. 8 and 2 in our last 10 games. Our defense has slipped to 26th, which is a little bit of a concern, and I'm not certain on why that's the case. But it's not good. Oh yeah, we've got to fix our lineups in AAA. So it looks like Brooks Lee will play short, and we'll have someone DH. So I'm not real sure why they put Elvis Rocha at AAA. We're gonna definitely move him down to AA. Yeah, let's go ahead and fix this real quick and make sure our minor leaguer gets down to AA. So there's Rocha. I feel like Schobel should never play in baseball ever again, but I think Ryan Fitzgerald deserves the same fate. Man, some of these guys in AA are really low overalls. All right, so let's put Rocha at fifth in our lineup. All right. Oh my gosh. Why did they have to do this? Are there any prospects that are not playing? No, I don't think so. So there is the trade. Marcelo Mayer traded to the Atlanta Braves. Now he's an 80 overall somehow. But, I mean, maybe just being in a Braves uniform, he feels even better. But we did what we had to do. Uh, we just hope that we don't have to face the Braves in the World Series and that Mayer comes back to haunt us. So the AL has defeated the NL. think next episode we're going to have to talk about our left field situation with Trevor Larnach, who was putting up good numbers in his platoon role, but Darren Blanco is not. And I really like him better as a guy off the bench that we can pinch run. But we do have the expanded rosters in September. So we'll be able to most likely bring up our top prospect, who is a right fielder, and he may get a chance to play. Oh man. I don't know why they do this, man. All right, so they have called up Cy McClellan from Double A to Triple A, which is absolutely not what we want to do. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and end this today. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Please smash the like button and leave a comment if you have any thoughts. Trade deadline is in a few days, and we're looking good at 63-34. We just fixed part of the ripple effect of the Carlos Correa trade. We feel like, anyway. Picked up a big time outfield prospect who is a few years away, but nonetheless, he is now on our team. So we will take a look. There he is. Elvis Rocha is now a Minnesota Twin. Wow. Walker Jenkins is the man I was speaking of. He is secretly playing well. He doesn't have many at bats at AAA. So his numbers look a little pedestrian, but if you extrapolate them over, 360 at bats or so, they look a lot better. Close to 18 home runs, 75 RBIs with a 275 average. But he did start in Double A at the beginning of the year. But look at his overall. He's up to an 83. That guy is just primed and ready for, well, we know he's ready for AAA pitching, but I believe he's ready for major league pitching, or he is very close. 83 overall. I'll let you go with that, guys. 83 overall. Walker Jenkins, A potential, 21 years old. Congrats, Minnesota. He's coming soon.